Yep, you can leave it there.
Yeah, it's slowly growing. Slowly growing. So like me, I'm like. Oh, that's pretty much. So you were years.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna do all that computer process, I'm just not committed to the raw. So, we'll see how it goes, it was like data. So,
Yeah, mine's
I have to work, I'm trying to get with her. Jeff said to me, yeah, I've talked to her a couple times. And I have all the intent, and they have people doing it, it's just their mouth, just general companies. They don't know how to.
Yes.
As much resources, which makes total sense, and it probably is really fine. Because that was like, that was the only boutique kind of program that I was looking at.
Yeah.
And I went to Coldwell Banker too, and I love their program. But,
Oh, the guy that was with me.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a sweet talker.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he's
like
sad and he's
charming,
mad.
but not overwhelming.
And then when I went into the office, I was like,
Which office did you go to?
downtown.
We was the same way. I was there for like an hour and a half and Bob had to go. And I just thought, this guy. I talked about that. Well, we there's two things you need to know. Did you meet them and work with them?
Yeah, but I took the class back in January, February. And then I've got another business, so I was super focused on just getting that ready. And then they all started calling me. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I had a trip to take, and then I just had all this stuff to do. And I was kind of like, this isn't a crisis for me. I'm not like, I'm getting these months.
That's kind of how I am too. So I remember I took my class in July and it was days for the year, but I was retired from my other career last. I worked at Intel 28 years.
Oh my gosh.
So that's one of the reasons I like Bob too, is he's a recovered engineer.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he goes
no
back
structure.
Yeah, and he's just, but he's also the kind of engineer with a personality. So
This is me.
Yeah.
You want to-
Sweet.
This is my other, I don't know which one, because that's my business.
there's, this doesn't have a great trademark, so I can't order one.
Carissa?
Yes.
I'll say it's that. And I have this other business, if you ever
Oh,
get
fun.
into a place with, needing short-term housing. That's what I do.
Cool.
A lot of people know about it, some people have never heard of it.
I haven't, and I should have.
It's great, I mean, we do a lot of real estate advertising, which is.
Where on Fifth Street is that?
It's like Washington, it's a big
It's
white
like
house.
West Jefferson.
I have 3 locations.
I used to live at 10th Badger.
Really, I
It's
live
not-
on 10th and Lynn.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago when I lived there, so you may know the corner, it's just 1 block north of Ford, that cute little blue building.
Oh, this is
English
for next.
cottage.
Yeah, for next time.
It's like an English cottage with a concrete brick, it's on the south west corner.
It's blue.
It's like, it used to be green when I had, it was like a deep evergreen, and now it's more of a blue.
I'll have to look.
And they built this huge structure in the back.
Oh, yeah, and it's a big, do the Christmas lights every year?
Yes,
Yeah, I know
because the
that.
guy
It's
owned it before me, or after me, was the Procare guy. He was
Yeah.
a commercial landscape
Yeah,
guy.
I was like,
He
this
did some
guy
trees.
has some kind of access, because that's incredible. It's
Was an
beautiful.
angle, yeah, that was my old house, and then lived at 24 and lived that for 11 years. And I live in Columbia Village, that's why I was retired, and that's
I'm
still,
still, I've still got
$1,000
teenagers.
mortgage instead of.
I've still got teenagers.
I got 12-year-old twins, so that that's another reason why we downsize.
Crazy.
4,200 square feet.
It's still big. It's huge. We should box 1,100 square feet.
Are you in 100?
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
20
Where are you
years.
saying?
Yeah,
10th and
1.
1.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Do
I've
your
got
thing.
this one for painting. I've got to pick out some colors.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. You're gonna be in the.
Yeah, you too?
Yeah.
I'll probably see you then. Take care. Nice to meet you. This one, I peeked on stuff. Thanks. Well, that looks good. in the other way. Thanks. Is this one that we can do? 1, 5, 3. They're together here.
on me some, huh?
It's like, quiet, I know what I'm doing. I don't think I know what I'm doing, computer, I do.
Yeah, well, I
No. Oh, it was terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. I don't know, make it cold at all. I know, but in the middle of the property.
Well, there is. Perfect soil. Yeah.
Hi, Carrie.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Where are you at?
Yeah.
I really like those guys.
Yeah, they're great,
Oh, I'm
so
happy for
I
you.
figured you'd be going to all Scott.
I'm
You
enjoying
guys
it.
had a
I'm
great
sure a lot
existing
to learn
relationship.
in this.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, I recommend you guys check more details on my plans. I already know others. Okay, so, no.
They should.
So Jocelyn. I don't know if she wanted to show them. I started from 9 to 11, and then everyone was supposed to come back after the meeting. So my first will drop ourselves, like, you just try to force it. And then our job is to like, she's like, doesn't start with so I don't know if that's what she did. Like, I was just like,
Have you ever started this? I know it's cold. I know, I didn't. I totally didn't have it. I have a lunch box. It has I know, I don't know anything about
so it's a combination. I don't know. No, but still, it's bad. It's kind of bad. Besides, her bad. Really? Yeah. No, my husband got told we need a daycare. You can make the I didn't know that the middle part right is not MLS. You could try to
This one is not. It's just one. And then see right on Sunday, and I'm like, Shelly, it's gonna be smoking. She's not there. You're always insane. Are you gonna take any of these other classes coming up? No, that's right. Oh, yeah, me too. If you want to stay there. Where he's from. I know I saw that here this She's like,
And then I was like, wow. And I'm like, you know what? And it's like, she's like, I just like to stare at it. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually and this is right. And I just thought it was like, you say, and I'm like, great. And she just kind of said that she was, then I'll make you see my face. And I'm like, fantastic. I was on the stage. And she goes, well, I'll make you see yeah. And you know, I stayed there. And I just so now Whatever. I don't care about that. At the end of the day, so the sports is supposed to cover the system. I'm saying this to the team. Then I have my testing. This is a candidate to be this is the reason I'm so I'm going to get out. So then I get it. They delete my which had all my dates and all that stuff that was because I had to use it. So I'm trying to tolerate all stuff. So it's on Friday night. And I get the small part of my people that I can see. So I have to go on 3 days and they're track for your house. So now I'm calling Candy's house that I've done all this things. And she's like, okay, well, you have to assign the age. Right? This is one of the training I was talking about. Well, the listing she's not responding to it at all. The assistant is not responding to it at all. All of a sudden, she's texting me and she's like, can you get me the address? No, I will. How about you call me on the phone? John won't answer the assistant. She's like, I'm on the phone with John. They're taking the list. And I'm like, and all of a sudden it clicks. And I'm like, this week, I'm that I'm actually and she was with me. And not only did I see 36 people, and I'm going to speak for everything. And I was like,
Is it okay if I leave a little bit before 2:30? I have a client activated about 2:45, and it's the only time she's able to meet.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. We're going to get started here. Hopefully you're all here for the MLS new member orientation. If you're here this morning, this is a different class than this morning. You have a different handout. Anybody need the handout? All right. So my name is Chris Peterson. I work here at the MLS. So this morning was about the rules. This is more about the products and tools Intermountain MLS has. The handout you've got says member benefits, kind of goes through all the items that are on the dashboard. We're not going to talk about all of them, but now you have something that mentions kind of what they do. We will hit on a lot of these today. There's a little overlap from this morning to this afternoon, so just be aware. And if I didn't tell you, maybe you wouldn't have noticed, but some of you might have. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Intermountain MLS is, why we have an MLS, a little bit about organizational and rules. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the tools and resources the MLS has, which is the main thing we're going to look at this afternoon. Now, a couple of things. The MLS has 2 required classes. The rules class was this morning, the new member orientation right now. There's a secret bonus required class if you input your own listings. You don't input your own listings, it's not required. That's why you weren't told there were 3. But if you input your own listings, there's an input maintenance class they have you take before you can actually type in the data yourself. You can list properties, you just can't type it in. The next one we have is this Friday. We have them usually twice a month, so don't think like you have to take it right now. I mean, if you have a listing right now that you want to type in yourself, then you would want to take that. But it's not one everyone has to take, only if you're entering your own listings. After we talk about the rules and policies and resources, we'll talk a little bit about Paragon and then some antitrust stuff. First thing is purpose of the MLS. Brokers are participants, agents are subscribers. So when you look at the rules and regulations, you're going to see both those words. The first purpose of the MLS is a means by which participants make a unilateral offer of cooperation and compensation. So the MLS exists so that you can work together to sell your listed properties. So you don't have to be the person that finds the buyer. You can work with other agents. Second purpose is a facility for the correlation and dissemination of listing information among participants. We're the Sears catalog of homes. You have a client wants a kind of property, you go in the MLS and you find it. You don't have to go drive around and look at every listed property or talk to every broker and find out what they have listed. To accomplish this purpose, the MLS has business rules in place for accuracy of data. Our rules exist for data accuracy. The rules aren't here to make your seller happy or your broker happy or to make you happy. The rules are to provide accurate data. The MLS isn't a marketing company. We're not an internet company. We want accurate data about the properties that are listed and sold in the MLS. Oh, I'm sorry. And the board recently provided this purpose as well on the MLS status disclosure form. The purpose of an MLS is the orderly correlation and dissemination of listing information to participants so they better serve the buying and selling public. So the MLS exists to help you do your job easier with your sellers and buyers. We're a regional MLS, cover from Ontario to Twin Falls, Latah County, Moscow is part of Intermountain MLS, 5,500 agents in Idaho and Eastern Oregon, and about 75,000 listings annually go through Intermountain MLS. We're the largest MLS in Idaho, and compared to other MLSs in Idaho, we have a lot more services and products we offer. Part of that is economies of scale. When you have 50 people in your MLS, it's expensive to provide a lot of things. When you have 5,500, you can spread that cost over more people. These are the realtor associations that are primary with us: Boise Regional Realtors, Next Door, Caldwell, Elmore County, Emmett Valley, Four Rivers, Latah, Nampa Association, Western Magic Valley, Twin Falls and Jerome over there. There are other associations that people are secondary with us, like up in the Mountain Central MLS or the Mini Cassia MLS or the Sun Valley MLS Association. They're secondary with us, but these are the ones that are primary with us. We have an 18-member board of directors. Each of those associations have representation on that board. The board approves policy decisions for implementation by MLS management, just like any other company. When the board at Apple decides to do something, they tell Tim Cook. Tim Cook tells the employee. That's how it works. The organization of the MLS, there are 10 of us. Glenn Christoph is the CEO. A thing to know about the MLS is we're very specialized. If I was sick today, you might watch a video of this presentation, but there's probably not anybody else here that would stand up here and give it, because we don't have a lot of cross-training because there's only 10 of us. Same thing if you were to take a Paragon class. You might, if you don't like me, I'm sorry, because it would be me that gives that class. So if you call and ask about key support, you're going to talk to membership. If you call about your website, you're going to talk to Chris Lee. So we're all specialized in what we do. which means if you have a specific question, don't be surprised if you have to get transferred to somebody because you may be talking to somebody who doesn't handle what you're asking. So we all have unique responsibilities, and there's only 10 of us. We have 2 committees, Rules and Policies Committee, New Tech Committee. If you are interested in rules, you like them, you hate them, you want to change them, that's where it starts, is that Rules and Policies Committee. The New Tech Committee is any kind of technological thing. We had a lockbox exchange almost 2 years ago now, but they basically renegotiated the contract with Supra, and they exchanged straight across the lockboxes that didn't work with Apple devices for lockboxes that did. And so that's the kind of stuff the New Tech Committee does. They deal with the technology that we use as an MLS. If you want to be on a committee, let somebody at the MLS know. We can get you on that committee. They meet once a month here at the MLS office. Photos, if you're the listing agent or co-agent, you can upload your own photos. You don't have to have permission from your broker or take a class. You can upload the photo to your listing. The only kind of listing that requires photos are existing residential structures to be built, under construction, not residential, don't require photos. You can't have signs in your photos, and the time period for uploading them is the 2nd business day after you begin marketing. You can email them to us, but it's $10 for us to do that. It's just easier to upload them yourself. Most everybody knows how to upload something or attach something to an email. It's the same process. The time period for your listing changes, reporting that information to the MLS, is the next business day. Enter your listing, it's the next business day after you begin marketing. Everything else is the next business day after it happens. You're marking it as pending the next business day after you get your offer. Marking it as sold the next business day after it closes. If the listing's not going into the MLS because it's going to be an excluded listing, then you would use the MLS status disclosure form. You don't put anything into Paragon until after it sells. You would just fill this form out, return it to the MLS. The other time this form is used is if you are doing a coming soon. Coming soon is entered into the MLS like a regular listing, but the status is put as coming soon. You fill out the status disclosure form, and then you upload it as an associated document to your coming soon listing. And when you put a listing as coming soon, you upload the disclosure form. After 14 days, it automatically changes from coming soon to active. You can make it active earlier than that if you want. And it can't be relisted as coming soon until it's been off the market for 30 days or more. And if you don't upload the status disclosure form or submit it when it's required, the board's got a big fine. It's $500 the first time, $750 the second, $1,000 for the third. So you want to make sure that if you're not putting it in the MLS as a regular listing, that you're following the policy for that, because you don't want to get fined. When you put it as a coming soon, you select the coming soon status, and then, like I said, it automatically changes to active. A coming soon listing is like any other listing. All the required data has to be entered in there. It's not like you can put part of it in and finish it later. It's all got to be entered at the time you put it in. And a coming soon listing isn't emailed to consumers. That doesn't happen until it changes to active. But it's still there for agents to see it. Questions about coming soons? Yeah.
There's a rumor that will go away.
Nope. The only thing I've heard is they might make it instead of 14 days to 30 days. If it goes away, coming soons would go away completely, which I don't think will happen because there are too many agents that use those in their marketing business plans. I mean, it was already a big enough change to have it in Paragon and have that time frame. Before, there was no time frame. I mean, I got to tell you, 6 months on a coming soon, people cross the plains faster than that. It isn't coming soon. So the time frame the board came up with was 2 weeks. I heard someone say they might change it to 30 days, but the board has to agree on it. I mean, a majority of the board has to vote to do that. So if they don't change it, it's because they couldn't convince everyone else that it should be 30 days. Because again, coming soon, if someone's shipping you something and they say it's coming soon, I don't think 30 days is what I would consider soon. So, I mean, it's all perspective, but again, that's the board that makes that decision. So some other rules and policy things. When a listing closes, you enter it as sold, not canceled. Canceling a sold listing can result in a fine against the listing office. The agent can also be fined. Unpublished solds are those excluded listings or build jobs, listings that were never in the MLS, an office exclusive, and then it's put in as an unpublished sold after it closes. There's 2 withdrawn statuses. Canceled means the listing agreement is canceled. Your listing is canceled. The other withdrawn status is temporarily off market, which means you're still the listing agent. It's still under a listing agreement, but it's not available for a certain amount of time. When a listing's marked as temporarily off market, no showings are available. You have to indicate in the agent remarks when it's coming back or why it is not coming back. It's still going to accumulate days on market, and it's not going to be syndicated to anybody's website. No IDX feeds are going to send that listing out. So there's no benefit for temporarily off market. If there is a pause button for your seller, school just started. Let's say you had a seller who had 4 kids starting school, and their house was going to be very hectic for a week while school's getting going. They don't want to cancel their listing, but they don't want anything happening. Temporarily off market would be a perfect thing to use for that week or whatever time period they wanted everything left alone. So that's what temporarily off market is. And before it can be shown, you have to change it back to an active status, so back on market. And any agent or broker that shows or permits the showing of a property that's in the temporarily off market status could be assessed a fine of $500 and may be in violation of the NAR standard of practice. So they really don't want you showing properties that are temporarily off market. And again, if you understand what those 3 words mean, you know what the rule is. It's off market temporarily. Gold price has to be reported. We talked about that. I know we had the rules class this morning, but those that weren't in the rules class, if you want to see the rules, you can go to membership info on the front page of Paragon, rules and regulations. The violation chart is there. The violation chart is basically just a list of the fines associated with breaking a rule. If you don't want to read the rules, read the violation chart. Then you'll at least know what the penalty is if someone breaks a rule. And not on the violation chart online, but on this one here and on the violation chart from the class this morning, it gives you the section number of where the rule came from. So if you want to know the rules that people are getting fined for, this is where they are. It's the violation chart. If you see a listing that seems to be breaking a rule or whatever, hit correction. It'll send a message to us at the MLS, and we can contact the listing agent and get it updated. Hitting correction does not send it to your office, though. Don't send us a correction that says my price needs to be lowered. We're not going to help you with that. That's something your broker or your staff people at your office take care of. And I heard somebody laugh. I can't tell you, we get that probably about once a month or so. We'll get an email that'll say, can you please lower my price to this? You know, I mean, we'll do it. It's $25 for us to make a change in your listing, but your broker can do it for free. So they probably didn't mean to send it to us. Some websites to be aware of. First is the member website, IMLSmembers.com. That is the middle page of Paragon. When you're on Paragon right here, this is IMLSmembers.com. It's the middle page. Our consumer website, which we'll talk more about, is IntermountainMLS.com. We have a public site that consumers can go to. They can look at listings. When they pull up your listing, they see your name because you're the listing agent. We're not a brokerage. We're not an office. So we're not going to we're not disguising or masking the listing agent information. People pull up your listing, they're going to see you. We also have public statistics available on there as well. The NAR industry website is realtor.org versus realtor.com, which is the consumer searching site for homes. The Idaho Realtors, the state association website is idahorealtors.com. And then the login page for Paragon is paragonimls.com. Just commit it to memory. Easy to get to, www.paragonimls.com. Paragon is the program we use. IMLS is the MLS you're part of. ParagonIMLS.com gets you right there every time. So IMLS services. You're laughing. You know, I said you can't tell you how many times people said, now Paragon.imls.com. No, ParagonIMLS.com. Paragon.imls.net. No, ParagonIMLS.com. So if I sound like I'm trying to say it over and over again to repeat it, I am, because if you Google IMLS login, I can't tell you how many times I've watched people in the lab on their own computer. They're like on IMLS members, go to Toolbox. I'm like, ParagonIMLS.com. Make that your bookmark. Don't make some bookmark you have to click 4 times to get to where you want to go. Bookmark where you want to be. So ParagonIMLS.com. See, I just said it again. All right, so basic MLS services, $78 a quarter. I don't know why it's called basic. We don't have professional, advanced, expert. It's the same for everybody. I don't know why it's called that. $78 a quarter is how much it costs to be a part of Intermountain MLS. I've worked at the MLS for 14 years. We've raised prices once. That was like 5 years ago. I'm not saying they're going to raise them again. I'm just letting you know that what have you been a part of for the last 14 years that had the prices go up once? I can't think of anything that I have that had prices go up only once. So anyway. $78 a quarter, unlimited database usage, meaning you can go onto Paragon however often you want and change your listing however many times you want. It's up to you. You want to go change the price every hour? You could go for it. I don't think it will make a difference, but you could do that if you wanted. You can access Paragon online, obviously, on your computer. There's Paragon Mobile. You can access it through other apps like HomeSnap or RPR is available as well. Other services we provide, we have a computer lab right next door. You might have walked by it when you came in here. We have 16 seats in there. We do classes on Paragon, Instanet. This should be updated because we're doing classes on Form Simplicity, Cloud CMA, RPR, listing input. Lots of classes on lots of stuff. So plus all the available stuff online as well. We do classes in offices. I just went, last week I went and did a Paragon CMA class in an office. So we do classes at offices as well. Forms preparation assistance, specifically the MLS data forms. If you want to know how to fill out an RE21, they're not my forms, they're not the MLS's, don't talk to us. You got to talk to the Idaho Realtors or the association or take Andy and Rico's forms class. But the forms preparation assistance is specifically the MLS data forms that we work with. And then MLS technical support, the phone support for Paragon is done by us at the MLS. So it's available when we're open, 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. So if it's 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, there's no phone support for Paragon. But there's a lot of online support, online help that we'll talk about later on. But phone support is through us here at the MLS office. And that's great also because if phone doesn't work for you, you can come in and talk to us. If I'm not teaching a class, you can come talk to me, Nick, Christian, Barb, Chris Lee, any of us. Come sit down with us and show us what's going on. If there's not a class in the lab, we can sit down with you in the lab. You can log in and we can see what you're dealing with. So that's a lot easier sometimes than talking on the phone to someone when you're trying to describe something that they're seeing as something different. So you can come in and talk to us if you need to as well. So the MLS Gateway, the dashboard, and I'll probably call it dashboard more than I call it Gateway, even though technically that's its name. Our system is a single sign-on system, meaning you log in and then you can use any of these tools that you want to use. And with the exception of Listing Book, and I don't think Goomsy's on there anymore, but if Goomsy's on there, Goomsy also, they are all free to use. Goomsy and Listing Book have a free portion and a pay portion. We'll talk more about that as we get there, but everything else is free to use. So if you haven't clicked on something because you thought all of a sudden you're going to be charged, first, the MLS, we're not crooks. We're not going to charge you unless it tells you you're going to be charged. We're not trying to secretly steal your money. And secondly, of course, if there's a charge, we would let you know that. So that we're not going to put something on there that's going to cost for you just to click on it. Members page you talked about, IMLSmembers.com. Anytime there is updates to Paragon or the rules or some other program, it's always there on the members page on the front of Paragon. You go to the training menu, you can go to training info and resources. There's a training info and resources page that has links to a lot of the tools and products the MLS provides, both with live videos, recorded videos, training information, handouts. Some of them have live webinars. Just depends on which one you're looking for. One of the other services the MLS provides is IDX service. IDX stands for Internet Data Exchange. That's the overarching term that means listings on websites. So if you're going to have listings on your site, meaning people can come to your website and search for properties, then IDX is what you've got. And so it allows brokers and agents with broker permission to advertise their listings or other people's listings on their website. Section 18 covers how your website has to look, what it has to display, what it can't display. There are a lot of third-party vendors, local and national ones that people use. People ask us all the time, what vendor should I use? We do not keep a list. We don't recommend anybody. But if you see a website that you like, typically at the bottom of that site, it's going to name the company that provides it. So then you could Google that company and then contact them if you like somebody's site. Brokerage firms can have their own custom data feed. A lot of brokers have the search ability from their own site. You can use that on your site as well. We have a smart framing solution that lets you plug it into your own site, and then people can search there. You can also have a feed generation and get leads that way. To set up IDX, it's a $25 setup fee. If you use our smart framing solution, it's $10 a month. Now I'm going to show you ours, not because I'm trying to sell it to you. I'm showing you what the bottom of the barrel is. 5 or 6 years ago, this was kind of even with everybody else, but they haven't updated it since then. So when you're looking at a provider to do the search for your site, you want to make sure it's better than ours. So I'm going to click on it here. This is what the basic searchability looks like. Somebody could come here, enter some criteria, enter some advanced criteria if they want. They can also search by map. The map search is probably the most important part because that's how people search today. When they open up the Realtor.com app and the Zillow app, it doesn't say, what city do you want to be in? It says, can I use your location? You say yes, and it says right where you are and shows you the properties around you. And so maps are what people use. And so people can come here, and you want them to be able to go on your site. I think it's all right, Meridian. And then the map comes up here. And as I zoom in here, it's going to show me properties that match my criteria, which is none right now. Now, the thing with a website is you have listings available so that you can use that for lead generation. So on this example site that I've got here, if I click here on a property and I go to view details, you're going to notice it's going to make me log in to get more information. That's the whole reason you have a site. So if you're going to create a website as an agent and have searchability on there, you want to make sure that you have a way to capture that information from those consumers that are going there. And again, the mapping and the regular one we have, that's the $10 a month IDX frameable links. But other vendors have different sites that have more and better searchability than we have. But if you don't have a way to do it, we can add that in there. So that's the search, the IDX implementation. We're a leasing administrator for Supra. We've got the Express Key, which is the black one down on the bottom right. That's $237.48 a year. It's prorated. So if you were to join the MLS today, you wouldn't pay the whole lease. You'd pay like the very least amount, and then come October, they'd bill you for the whole thing. So if you joined the MLS after October of last year, you didn't pay that full amount. You paid a prorated amount, but it's an annual lease. The eKey Basic is $15.76 a month. The eKey Professional is $27.46 a month. The eKey Basic turns your phone into a key. Puts the key software on your phone. That's all it does. The eKey Professional turns it into a key and then lets you have roster information and lets you download MLS listing data into the Super eKey app. It doesn't have photos, but it downloads it, which means if you're in an area that doesn't have any coverage, you would still have the listings that you downloaded into your phone because they're still going to be there with that information. If you're looking for the least expensive, it's the eKey Basic. If you multiply that out through the year, that's cheaper than the Express Key. To get a key, there's a $75 activation fee no matter which one it is. And if you have one and change to another, you don't have to pay the activation fee again if you're still current with Supra. So that's the Express Key and the eKey Basic and Advanced. You can't share your key. It's a $500 fine. The key is meant for you and nobody else. You can purchase lockboxes. Unlike the Express Key, the lockbox is yours when you buy it. And you can buy it from somebody else. You don't have to buy it from us. If you buy a lockbox from another agent, just have them sign a bill of sale or a piece of paper saying that they bought it from you or you bought it from them, and then we can transfer it into your name. Let's see if there's anything else about this I got to say. Questions about the Supra stuff? Okay. Home inspectors can have e-keys. They're called affiliate keys. They have to be the home inspector has to be an affiliate member with either Realtor Association, Boise Regional Realtors, or one of the other ones. Then they have to have a background check, be bonded and insured, and then they can get an affiliate key. They have to have the call before showing or the CBS code in order to use that key to access a lockbox and get the house key out of it. As the listing agent, you would be the one providing that CBS code to them. So if you don't want to do it and you want someone to be there with them, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But if you want to, you can provide that CBS code, which you can get from the eKey software or the Supra website. The CBS code is just assigned to the box, and you can customize it if you want to. Just have to program the box to do that. IMLSmobile.com. So IMLSmobile.com is a website you can access via any mobile device, and you can search listings. Same login and password as Paragon. It is case sensitive, where the login screen is not case sensitive. It uses GPS and lets you search. There's not a map view, but it uses GPS to search. You can use other criteria, up to 25 criteria items. When you search, you can look at the listings. The listings have photos. You can email a PDF client view from IMLS Mobile. IMLS Mobile, and although it's sometimes called Paragon Mobile, is not Paragon for your phone. It's just letting you search the listing data. Like it would have your saved searches in there, but it's not going to have a way to go in and turn on auto notification or the collab center or that kind, or create a CMA like the Paragon site does. There's not a mobile version of the Paragon site other than accessing the regular desktop site on your phone. There's just not a mobile one that way. The Paragon Mobile, IMLSmobile.com will take you there. HomeSnap is another mobile service the MLS works with. If people ask if we have a mobile app, HomeSnap is the app we use. So you download HomeSnap. It has a consumer side and an agent side. So when you download it, if you say sign in with Facebook, that's the consumer side. But if you say you're a real estate agent, it will let you go and see agent information. You can see specific agent information like the agent remarks. You can go in and see the other information specific to agents like the showing instructions. With HomeSnap, you can also collaborate with your buyers or sellers. If you have HomeSnap and you refer someone to it and they open it up on their device via the link you gave them, when they look at properties, your name is what comes up because they're linked to your account. With HomeSnap, you can also go in and collaborate with your clients, send them information on listings. There's marketing tools HomeSnap has. Almost exclusively, their training and information on HomeSnap is via webinar. And one of the hardest things that I've talked to people about with HomeSnap is just getting that account set up. So there's a real quick video here we're going to watch that talks about how to set up your profile if you haven't already done it in HomeSnap. So we're going to watch this real quick.
Now let's look at how to register in HomeSnap Pro. After you download the app, this should be the first screen that you see, at least in iPhones.
Can you guys hear that back there?
Okay. And the option that you want to register for HomeSnap Pro is I'm a real estate agent. When you select that, the app will try to figure out where you are and pick the MLS that's most appropriate for you.
Okay, now I'm stopping this because this is a problem people have had. You have to have your location turned on. If you're one of those people that don't turn your location on, that's fine, but HomeSnap's not going to know where you are if you don't have your location on. And if I sound like I'm saying that sarcastically, I am. Because if your phone doesn't have location turned on, it's not going to know where you are. So how's HomeSnap going to know where you are? When you open up HomeSnap the first time, it's going to ask you if you want to share your location. You want to do that. Because not only will it make this next step setting up easier, when you open up HomeSnap and you're standing in front of a house, it will know what house you're standing in front of. If you don't have it turned on, enjoy moving your map around with your fingers because that's what you'll end up doing. So.
That's right. You just say, yes, I am a member of this MLS. If not, you can say, no, a different MLS and pick from a big pick list. I'll just show you that real quick. So this is all the MLSs across the country. If we got it right, you can just say yes. Now you need to find your existing MLS account. So you can do this with the ID that you use with the MLS, with your email address, or with your name. And for name, you can either use just your last name, your first initial and last name, or your first and last name together. So I'll find my little test account there that I'm using to show you all. You'll get a list of results, which if you have a very specific name, might just be one, like mine. Or if you have a common name, might be multiple, but it will mention your broker name and the city and state where your office is located. So pick the correct one. The next screen will suggest the two different ways that we could validate you against that account. So we can either validate your email address from the MLS or the cell phone number from the MLS. And the process works the same in either case. We will send either a text message or an email with a validation code, a 4-digit code, that you'll need to sign in to prove that you have ownership of this account. So in this case, I'm going to pick my cell phone number. You actually just have to confirm it by typing it in here. Once you submit that, we will send a text message out with the verification code, and which you'll type in here. You can see mine just popping to the top of the screen. I'll type it in there and confirm. Next screen lets you confirm all the information about yourself that we're pulling from your existing MLS record. You also need to add a picture, which I'm going to do from my library here. And make up a password. Of course, I forgot to accept the terms of service, which is down at the bottom of this checkbox here. If you want to read them, you can read them here real quick. And then when you're done, hit complete profile. You'll be dropped into HomeSnap and ready to start looking for homes and interacting with other agents near you. Thanks.
So if you have not tried HomeSnap, you should. So of course, what good does it do to be in a class about technology and not use it? So here's my phone. There's HomeSnap. And with HomeSnap, when your location's on, it takes you where you are. So here we are, Maple Grove and Franklin. And if I move the map around, I can see things. You'll notice the top 19 for sale, 3 open houses. Those are the purple ones. If I click on a property, here's the information on it. I can click on 25 photos, and then I can scroll through the pictures. I can swipe up, and there's the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. You can do a rapid CMA, which is just going to let you pick some nearby properties. It just uses location. Tells me how many days it's been on the market. There's the listing agent, the co-agent. There's the confidential listing information, the compensation. I could schedule a showing right here with showing time. Come down and see other information about the property. There's property lines. I can hit open map. And when you're looking at the map, there's the property lines. I can change it from aerial to, or whatever view I want there. And then when I'm looking at a listing, let's find a different listing here. There we go. So when you're looking at a listing and you click on an agent's name, first off, you can see this one was listed in August, was under contract at a price change, and now it's still for sale. If you click on an agent's name, and I don't know Karen Schick, so if you know her, I didn't pick on her, I just picked that house. When you click on here, first off, you can go to How Am I Connected? It shows you how you're connected to that person. Well, I work with the MLS, so I'm not connected at all. But if you had agents in your office that had worked with that person, you would see how they are connected. And so you could talk to people in your office, hey, I have a buyer that likes this house, this is who has it listed. How was working with them when you dealt with them before? And the other thing you can do is you can see their deal flow for the last 24 months. How many buyer and selling sides have they had, average prices, and analyze those properties they were working with. So that's some of the stuff that as an agent you get in HomeSnap. And up at the top, on the top right of HomeSnap, is that little camera icon. It's called HomeSnap because you take a picture of the house, of course, with location turned on, and it will show the information to you in HomeSnap. So if you haven't tried HomeSnap, it's definitely worth doing. It's the app the MLS uses. We don't have any other app to provide for listing information that you want to use. So that's what HomeSnap would be used for. So if you haven't tried HomeSnap, it's worth doing. It's free, part of the MLS. And HomeSnap has marketing tools like it says here. I've seen them occasionally on Facebook, mobile, or on Instagram, where agents have done ads using HomeSnap. So that's all done through them, not through us. So that's HomeSnap. CRS data is another tool the MLS provides. CRS stands for Courthouse Reporting Service. It's a public records system that gets public records information. Now, Idaho is a non-disclosure state, which means public records are going to be few and far between sometimes. It kind of depends on how recent the last transaction was, if it's going to be there. But it lets you look at properties in our area. You can use mapping information. You can pull up maps and property lines. Let me go here to my Paragon. Let me find my listing. So on the dashboard here, CRS is this black and yellow icon. But when you're looking at a listing, it's this little yellow and black icon. So I click here, brings up CRS data about that property. And that's automatically put on a listing when you enter it. You don't have to do anything else. When you enter a listing, it's there automatically. So here's the property information. And it's going to load a map here in a second. Hopefully. There we go. And it's got the lot measurements. So if you're a listing agent and you need lot measurements, easy way to get them. Scroll down here, I see who the current owner is. I can see the taxes. I can see mortgage history. I can go here and see the additional mortgage information if it's available. And then with CRS data, the other thing you can do is you can do a prospecting search, which lets you search for owner information. And it doesn't have to be a listed property to bring it up in CRS. Any property information is there. And on the prospecting side, if you want to do flyers or postcards and you want to go to a neighborhood and send out a bunch of postcards or something, you could come here. So let's zoom into a neighborhood here in Meridian. Let's see, that's right here. And I can come here and I want to draw a rectangle. Let's say I want to draw this shape right here. Then I can choose include this shape. So now if I scroll down, those are all the listings, all the properties, and I could come here to criteria. Let's say I only want absentee owners. And then I could scroll down and I could come down and I'm only seeing ones where the owner address and the property address are different. And then I can export that as a spreadsheet or some kind of label if I'm doing postcards or something. And you can export up to 5,000 names a month. So if you need more than that, work with somebody else. They have 5,000 names too. But that's what CRS data lets you do. So that's CRS data. Cloud CMA is a tool the MLS provides, lets you create CMAs, flyers, property reports, buyer tours. And you can go in here and it's all part of the MLS. It's free. The first time you log in, you've got to create your account, but there's no charge to use Cloud CMA. When you're looking at listings, both using the action icons or on the MLS full detail, you can click on the Cloud CMA icon to go right in and create a flyer or a property report for the listing that you're looking at. If you want to create a CMA and you want to pull your comps into Cloud CMA, when you run your search and on your spreadsheet select the properties, you can go to under Actions, Cloud CMA. That will take those listings and put them into Cloud CMA as your comps. So you don't have to do a separate search. Or if you're doing a buyer tour, you can do the same thing. So there's really easy ways to get the information from Paragon to Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA has a presentation view. It kind of works like a PowerPoint presentation where you can go in and present the data. It works on an iPad. It's swipeable. Or if you want to do it on a larger screen or whatever. It's just an easy way to present it to your client without just having them flip through a PDF that you printed. So that present view lets you do that for CMAs. So Cloud CMA, part of the MLS, you can go in there and use that anytime. So the MLS supports both forms programs that the Idaho Realtors are providing. First one is Instanet. We've had Instanet for like 4.5 years. All of the Idaho Realtors forms are in Instanet. Instanet is going to be here until the end of November 2019. Instanet is not going away. From Instanet, you can take an MLS data form and you can send that to Paragon as a partial listing so you don't have to re-enter all the data. It also can be set up to populate the back office information for a broker using Instanet. You can access it from anywhere. On an Android device, it works on your phone. It's mobile sensitive, so when you open it up on your phone, it looks like a mobile app. On an iPhone, there's an actual Instanet app you can download that lets you go in and manage your transactions that way. Authentisign is electronic signing. It's part of Instanet. There's no limit to how many you can do. It's available to everybody. And like I said, it's here through 2019, November of 2019. Form Simplicity is the second forms program the Idaho Realtors are providing. We've had Form Simplicity since about last November. Just this last month, that one-step listing entry to take a data form and send it to Paragon was turned on or made available in Form Simplicity. It's also accessible via the internet. There's not a mobile version or an app. You just access it via your computer. It has the e-sign that you can use when you're part of Form Simplicity. And all the Idaho Realtors forms are there as well. So both are available until the end of November 2019. At that point, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe the Idaho Realtors will use some other forms program. They like to change them all the time. But that's the important thing to remember. It's not the MLS. It's the Idaho Realtors that run the forms. So Form Simplicity, Instanet. The reason there's two, that's a great question for the Idaho Realtors, not for the MLS. I mean, now we can give you opinions, but it wasn't our deal. It's the Idaho Realtors. And that's not them next door. That's Boise Regional Realtors. The Idaho Realtors are the ones that are up on Overland. Listing Book is a tool the MLS works with that allows you to provide listing information to buyers and sellers. It lets you send out listing information automatically to your buyers. They get emails, whether there's a match or not, to kind of keep you in front of them all the time. With sellers, it sends competition, so similar properties out to them. Same thing, they get emails every day. They get a monthly summary. For an agent, it automates your busy work. You can go in and see what your buyers and sellers are looking at. To get the full capacity of Listing Book, you have to pay for it. I don't know what the cost is. It changes periodically, so I don't have it written down here. But if you go to listingbook.com, typically you can get that information there. They usually have some kind of, they have a free part of it and then a free temporary time of the full version. The free part of Listing Book, I think lets you put one person in, but it doesn't show you all the information. But if you're using the free trial of it, you'd see the whole thing. The listing book is pretty useful, and if you pay for a listing book, if someone goes to listingbook.com and looks for properties in our area, they route leads to agents that have that Listing Book Pro here in part of Intermountain MLS. So that's Listing Book. And if you haven't heard of Listing Book, throughout the country, Listing Book's like in the top 5 real estate websites in the country. Now in Boise, maybe it's not, but we have 1.5 million people in Idaho, so we're not a very big part of the whole country. So Listing Book is big in other places. And if you're working with people that are moving from other places, Listing Book is what they could be using. So I'm not saying you have to use it, but if you haven't heard of it and think nobody's using it, nobody here may be using it that you know, but other people might be. So List Track is another tool the MLS provides. List Track gives you Google Analytics for your listings. You get a real-time activity dashboard of what's going on with your properties. You can see when your listing's been viewed on sites. You can send your seller a report of online activity, what's going on. That seller report can be automated. And so I'm going to log in here a different way. And I'm going to go in here to List Track. So I'm logging in here as someone from the MLS, not an agent. So I don't have a specific listing to view, but I can look at the whole MLS, the MLS as a whole. So for example, here's a map showing what markets are looking at listings from the MLS. And obviously Idaho is pretty big, but you'll notice here Seattle, San Francisco, LA, Southern California, Utah, places where people are looking at listings. And I can zoom in and even get a better idea of where exactly people that are looking at our listings are coming from. And so if you had an individual listing, you could get that same kind of information. We had a broker once that had a seller, seller that wanted them to purchase advertising a certain zip code in Southern California. Well, who's going to pay for that? The broker. The broker doesn't get paid till the house sells. So they use List Track as a way to show their seller, we are already penetrating that area. This listing is already being viewed by people there. And so with List Track, you can see that information. And it's right here on the dashboard, List Track. And as you scroll down, it shows you how many views on different websites. I'll give you one guess who the Triangle website is here. Zillow compared to the rest, but it shows you how many by day. This is for the whole MLS. And then, yeah.
So this is for your listings, not other listings?
Right. All you can see is your own listings. Yep. So you can see your own listings, how they're being viewed. But it's a great tool with your seller to be able to say, hey, you know, here's because it'll show how many. I think my screenshot has one that shows it. Yeah, it shows average views for similar homes. So here's your house, the purple one. This orange one are similar ones like yours. So if those lines were in different positions, you could say, hey, yours is not getting as many views as somebody else's, which, not to be oversimplistic, is going to be because it's priced wrong. Because people are looking for a house at a certain price range. That's not yours, so they're not looking at it. And like I said, that weekly seller report can go out. You can have it go to you, but it's automated. So if you have someone who really wants a lot of information about how their home is being viewed online, this is a great way to get that in that information. So that's what List Track does. Everlance, also on the dashboard. Everlance is a tool that helps you track expenses. It's really it's kind of an oddball of our tools here because it's not specific about listings, but as independent contractors, as agents, you have to keep track of all your expenses. So List Track lets you do, Everlance lets you do that. And you can put expenses in there and classify them as personal or business. Their statistic was the average user records over $3,500 in deductions. And there's a the Android version is totally free. The iOS version has a free version and an enhanced version as well. Yeah.
Do you know if you can track more than one vehicle?
I don't know if you can.
Okay.
But I mean, I know you can itemize the trips. So you could name them differently, but I don't know for sure if you can, because I didn't try to do that when I installed it. But so have you tried doing it?
No, I'm looking for nothing.
Okay. Yeah, so you might try it. I don't know. I'm not sure if it does or not. So you might see, but I know it's at least do one. So that is Everlance. And you can export the data for reimbursements into Excel or whatever. So showing time. Showing time is right here on the dashboard. And when you go into showing time, the first thing it has you do is set up your profile. But showing time is a tool that you use to request showings if you have buyers. And it lets you go schedule the showing. And if you're a listing agent, it lets whoever is the person that is approving that showing be the person that receives the request. So without showing time, a lot of the times what will happen is the selling agent calls the listing agent, leaves a voicemail. The listing agent calls the seller, leaves a voicemail. The seller calls back the listing agent, leaves a voicemail. The listing agent calls back the selling agent, leaves voicemails. 5 voicemails, all to have someone say, no, you can't come on Saturday. So with showing time, it immediately sends the request to the seller if that's who's the person saying yes or no. And then as the listing agent, you're notified that your seller was just sent a request for a showing and they approved it. And then you can see when that's happening. So no middleman, no voicemail, it can go directly to that person. That's what showing time lets you do. And with showing time, when you have a listing, as the listing agent, you can go in and specify if someone can request showings using showing time or not. And if it's a vacant property, you can have them automatically approved. So they go and request a showing and it's automatically approved. You can make it so that they can't overlap or that they can overlap. It's up to you. So it really just automates the showing process. When you go in to set up your showing time profile, you want to make sure you verify your mobile number. Because you don't verify your mobile number, all showing time can do is call you on the phone. And it's an automated human voice asking if you want to allow a showing at such and such a time. But if you go in and verify your mobile number, you can turn off the phone calls and you can get a text. So that way you're not getting annoyed by these phone calls from showing time. You're just getting a text that says, Chris wants to show your house Saturday at 3 p.m. Text Y for yes, text N for no. And you've approved it. Or if you have the showing time app, you can get a push notification. And in showing time, if your seller is the one that's approving those or the co-agent, you can add them as the person that receives that request. So showing time is a great tool, and especially the last few months with the market being as busy it is, the less you have to play phone tag, the easier it is. So I mean, showing time can be very useful. And with showing time, if you're using that exclusively to schedule the showings, you can get some great feedback via showing time to show your seller the showings that have occurred, who's shown them, how many times people have been there, or whatever. When you're the listing agent, you can access showing time via listing maintenance to go in and maintain it. There's the showing time app that you can download and use. With the showing time app, if you download it, the way to use it is don't download it, but don't go to it first. Go into the showing time via the dashboard here. Let me make sure my account will work here. And when you're on your profile, down here at the bottom, it says mobile app access. You put in your email address and hit send authentication link. You click on the link, it opens the app, you download it, and you're in. You don't have to create a password or anything else. If you download the app and open it, it's going to say, enter your login and your password. And you're going to say, well, I don't have a password yet. It's because you haven't gone in to create your profile yet. So if you do the link, then it will work. And you'll notice here it shows the device. And this is where if you've got your mobile number turned on in here, you can choose how you're going to receive these messages. Text message, email, showing voice, push. Notice I have showing voice turned off. I mean, I'm not an agent, but I would hate that phone call. No one wants, you get a phone call from an unknown number, you're never going to answer that. And I would love to be there when you tell your seller, oh yeah, I got showing requests, but I don't answer those calls. Let me come with you and tell them that. So this is just a great way to get that information. Now, the other thing about showing time, which I don't have a slide for, so I'm going to show it to you, is if you have the showing time app on your phone, you can use it to easily navigate to your properties. Question we get a lot, especially from agents that are new to the Treasure Valley, is how can I get listings from Paragon on my phone to tell me how to get there? There's no way to do it. Paragon does not have a way to do that. You can go to Paragon Mobile and go one listing at a time, but if you've got 4 properties that you're going to go view and you want an easy way to navigate those on your phone, there is not one, except showing time. So I'm going to go back here to my little list, my spreadsheet. Now, before I do this, I already have the showing time app on my phone and I'm installed with it. So go here, let's say these 4 listings right here are what I want to work with. So I've selected them on my spreadsheet under actions. Notice here's the 2 Cloud CMA ones I mentioned earlier. Here is showing time. So I click on showing time and it's going to go in and it's going to have me create what's called a showing cart. Because one property would be just one request. This is going to be multiple properties. So I do add to showing cart Now, I'm not requesting to go show these. I'm just creating a showing cart here. I still am not going to request these. So I click OK. So now it's got these 4 properties that I pulled in from the MLS. Shows me where they are on a map. I can click on Smart Route to route them in a way that it thinks is smarter, which you notice is a little shorter than it was. If I want to move them, I can click and drag them and put them in any order I want. And if I want to come here and request appointments, I can do that. But let's say I don't want to request appointments. We're just going to drive by these, or I just want to drive by them. So let's go back here to my handy dandy phone. And so here is my showing time app. And when you have a showing cart created, the first thing that comes up are your upcoming tours. And there is NMO class that I just created 30 seconds ago. I tap on it, and here's those 4 properties. But let's say I want to go to number 3 first. So I tap on the little car icon. It opens up my maps, and it will navigate me from here to that property. Showing time is the only thing that does that. And I guarantee I can beat any of you, no matter how fast you are with typing or how accurate Siri is with listening to your voice. I can get there faster using showing time than you can typing it into your phone from property to property. So even if showing time is something that someone in your office said, oh, the MLS don't use that, this is something that we don't have anything else that does. Yeah?
Can you specify which navigation you want? Like, do you have?
It's going to be whatever your default map is.
Okay.
So if your default map is Waze or Apple Maps, it's going to open that up. So yeah.
There's 2 that come up in Android, Showing Time and Showing Time mobile app.
It's the same thing.
So either.
It's the same one. Yep. Yep. They just have it there. HomeSnap's the same way. They have it under multiple names. So that's showing time. If you haven't used it before, haven't tried it, try it. Can be pretty useful. We've had showing time for almost 2.5 years now. So that's what showing time is. And if your seller downloads the mobile app, they can get push notifications of the showing requests. So that's showing time. All right, so next thing to talk about is Find, Realtor.com Find. Find is the agent side of Realtor.com. Now, there's not a mobile app for us for this. It's just accessed via the dashboard. But basically, any listing on Realtor.com, you can pull up and find. So if you're looking at properties in Idaho Falls, in Salt Lake City, in Seattle, if they're on Realtor.com, you can find them here. And because it's for agents, you're going to see the listing agent and listing brokerage contact information on there. But it's a really useful tool to find out that property information in other locations. The bottom bullet point there talks about searching other MLS systems. If you're an agent in Idaho, you're not only an agent in Boise. You can sell houses anywhere in the state that via the Code of Ethics you're available to sell. If you grew up in Idaho Falls and you know Idaho Falls, you can sell homes there. You don't have to go and be a realtor at the Idaho Falls Association. The state law does not say you have to do that. So you could come here, look up homes in Idaho Falls, drive over there and sell a house if you want it. Now, of course, you'd want to clarify you're going to get compensated and everything. That's a different story. But you could pull up the listings that are on Realtor.com and those MLSs via Find. So that's what Find is. And again, Find is part of the MLS. It's free. Next one is Realtors Property Resource, RPR. It is a tool that NAR provides to realtors. And just like Cloud CMA, before you can use it, you have to create your account. Because it's NAR, when you're creating your account, they're going to require your NERDS number, your National Realtor number, that you got when you joined the National Association of Realtors. But once you've got your account set up, then you can use RPR. You can access public records information from throughout the country. It integrates it with MLS data. Idaho's a non-disclosure state, but you can pull up listing information in disclosure states and see the information that's there. Property information, not listing information, but property information. They've got the FEMA floodplain maps. School information is there. And with RPR, let's go back here to my listings. One of the things RPR has is what's called an RVM. So here's the RPR icon. So I'm going to click on it. And it's going to make me log in again because I haven't logged in for a minute. So the RVM stands for Realtors Valuation Model. And it uses on and off market properties to calculate valuations for homes. And this is a 4-star one, so it's saying it's not totally confident. The range is $100,000, so obviously it's not very confident. Let's find another property that might have a better one. And there's no way to tell by looking at a listing. I'm just trying to pick one here. Because what it uses is, like I said, on and off market properties. calculate it. Let's use this one. All right, there we go. That's a little better. So this is a 5-star rating, and it uses, like I said, on and off market properties. And you can click on view details on the RVM to see the properties they use to calculate it. So the yellow one is the subject. There's all the ones they use as comparables. I can scroll down here and see those properties. And when RPR was launched, their statistic is that they were within 10% of what the home will sell for. This property was listed in May. It hasn't sold yet, so that RVM is looking pretty good. Because if $449 was the price, it would have already sold, which it has not. And so the RVM can be pretty useful to help check your work, give you information. And RVMs aren't only on listed properties. Over here on the right, you'll see these ones that are gray. If I click on one of those, that's an off-market property. No, it's fine when it has an RVM, though. There's one that has an RVM right there, even though it's off-market. So those RVMs are calculated when there's enough market information to provide it. And like I said, it's got public record information. Scroll down here. There's the deed records, tax assessment information that's there. And RPR also has a mobile version that you can use. With RPR Mobile, all the same information that's available with RPR Online, you can access via your phone. And with RPR, if you bring up a property and you look at it in RPR Mobile, when you go to the main RPR site, it'll identify it as one you brought up on your phone. So that way you can tell what you looked at on the mobile device versus what you looked at on your computer. And so let's say I go here to the 3 properties for sale. And then let's say I tap on that one right there. On Iris, sale pending. And just like we just looked at there, it's going to have the same information. And with RPR Mobile, one of the things also it has is you'll see that little phone icon right here, call agent. So it makes it really easy to just call the agent right from RPR. So that's RPR Mobile. And then if I go here to back to RPR on my computer, you will see this one I just looked at on Iris. It's got the little phone icon next to it because I looked at that on my phone. So RPR can be a pretty useful tool. So that's RPR. Questions about RPR while we're talking about it? Okay. So another tool the MLS has is Down Payment Resource. And Down Payment Resource allows you to see if there's any kind of down payment assistance program for properties, and it does it based on location and price. And so if you're looking at a listing and it qualifies for some kind of down payment assistance, there'll be an icon on the full detail that indicates that. It's on the bottom, very bottom right of those icons. They've got both nonprofit and lender type down payment assistance programs. When this was launched, 87% of our listings qualified. It's on the dashboard. You can go there from the resources menu. When you're looking at a listing, it's this little green icon on the bottom right here that you would see if it's available. You can also add it to a spreadsheet if you want to find properties that have that. And just because it's got down payment assistance doesn't mean that your buyer is going to qualify. They would need to find out on their own if they qualify, but it lets you make available to them what things could be available for that property. Like maybe it's a house in Canyon County and there's rural development money available or something. You can let them see that. So that's Down Payment Resource. RE Technology, it's on the dashboard as well. There's no cost for RE Technology. If you are not getting enough emails, you can sign up to get more from RE Technology. So if you want to find out what's going on in the technology part of real estate, RE Technology is great for that. A lot of times they have free trials of software. But if you're already getting a lot of emails you don't read, don't sign up for this because it's just going to be another one you're not going to read. But that's what RE Technology is. On the members page, if you go to partners on the left side there, you'll see different, and I don't know if this is the same list that's there right now, but you'll see different companies that the MLS partners with. The partners mean that if you go through our link to access their information, there's some kind of discount than if you went there on your own. Like if you go to Tour Factory's website and sign up for virtual tours, versus going through the link on our partners page, I don't know what the difference is, but you'd save a little bit going through ours. So that's what those partners are for. Same with DocuSign or some of the other ones. Intermount@MLS.com is our public site. Consumers can come here and search for properties. agents, offices, statistics are there. They can do a regular property search or a map search. When they pull up a listing, it's going to give them the listing agent information. Like here, it shows who they're listed by on the results. They click on a property, they get the full detail and see it. If there's an open house coming up, they would see that when that's occurring. And so on the dashboard, on the gateway here, where it says public website, what that does, that lets you go in and manage your profile that consumers are going to see. It lets you put in an agent bio, the languages you speak, that you can see your listings that are there. So that's where you can access that public information. And let's see, that's that page. So Paragon is the MLS system that we use. Paragon 5 is the version we're on. To get help on Paragon, I mentioned this earlier that we do the phone support, but if you're using Paragon on evenings and weekends and you have questions, the help up on the top right takes you to the Paragon help site, and it's all organized by task. Like if I'm searching or I'm working on a CMA, I can click on one of those and it would give me the information that I'm looking for. So Paragon has a tool called the Collab Center. The Collab Center is a way to work with your clients and share listing information with them. And when they look at listings, they can mark them as favorite, possible, or rejected. In fact, we just yesterday, bring up the members page again, right here on the front page of Paragon, we did a blog post about it. So there's the Collab Center. When they log in here, shows them what they're going to see, where they're going to see updates and new matches, where they can see the ones they marked as favorite, possible, or rejected, how to filter their search, and then how it's going to look on a mobile device. So the Collab Center is a great tool to share listing information with your buyers and sellers. The only way they get in the Collab Center is you add them as a contact in Paragon. They don't sign themselves up. You put them in as a contact, create their search, and then they can go in there and see those properties. They're going to see the favorite, possible, rejected, undecided, based off the search you created. And a mobile device, they can go in and they can do a search and draw a shape if they want. That's the Collab Center. When they mark listings as favorites, possible, or rejected, you see all of that in Paragon on their contact record. So you can see what listings they like or don't like. If they leave a comment, you can see that as well. And the Collab Center can be added as a shortcut to their home screen, so they can easily get back in there whenever they want. They don't have to type in their password. They just add a shortcut to their home screen. This is a screenshot of Android, but I know iPhone has the same thing. You click the little share button, add to home screen. You got a button to click on to view that. And when you email listings from Paragon, they're emailed in a mobile view if they open it on their mobile phone that resembles the Collab Center. If they open it on their computer, it's the client detail or whatever you emailed. But if they open it on their mobile device, it's going to be a mobile view. And so the Collab Center, again, you put your contact into Paragon, create a search and assign it to them, and then you can turn the Collab Center on so they can view those listings. Paragon also has a map search that's part of it. You can go there and draw a shape. You can draw up to 10 shapes at a time. There's a polygon, which is your own shape, a rubber band, which is a square, radius is a circle. If you click on a price, it gives you a preview. You click on the MLS number, it gives you a preview of the detail. The colors indicates statuses. There's a legend button up here that lets you see what they are. Green is active, purple's pending, blue is sold. And that's just added to your search like anything else. When you're searching in Paragon, it works on any browser, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Opera. I wouldn't say Internet Explorer. I don't know why that's on the list anymore. Don't use Internet Explorer. Firefox, Chrome, and Safari are going to give you your best experience. When you're searching by address, you want to remember that Paragon only has the information in it that the agent's put in there. And so you've got to enter it the way the agent did. So we're on West Bethel Court here. So if I was trying to look up our address, 9542 West Bethel Court, I would put in 9542 in Bethel. I wouldn't put in the West and the Court. Because how do they put court in there? Is it CT? Is it CT period? Is it COURT? I don't want to have to search 3 times. So by putting only Bethel, I would find it. So you want to put in the things that you know will be there. When you're working with listings, you go to the reports menu. You can choose the report you're going to email or print. Any of them that say client, customer, brochure, flyer are meant to be used to the consumers. The default view when you email is the client detail. So unless you change it, that's what it's going to be. And when you're looking at listings, like here I am on the full detail, to go to the client detail or another report, you go up here to the reports menu, go here to the details and click on the report that you want. Let's say I want to go to the flyer one with map 5 pics. So then I've got this flyer that has 5 pictures and a map on it. And if it's a report that you like, you can click and drag it and put it up here in your favorites. You'll notice that I already have the client detail up here to make it easy to get to. And I click on it, and it's easy to get back on that report. And up here at the top of the search on this tab, it always tells you the report that you're looking at. So now I'm looking at the flyer 1. Now I'm looking at the full detail. Now I'm back on my spreadsheet. And you can go easily back and forth from your results to your search by clicking on the left or right side of that tab. So here I am running my search, and I want to go back to my criteria. I just click on the left side of this tab. Doesn't matter what the name says. Just click on the left side, and I'm back on my criteria. Click on the right side. I'm back on the results. So you can easily go back and forth. The MLS sends out a bulletin once a week with information about products and tools. If you're not getting it, you can subscribe to it on the members page. Yeah.
Could you go back a second to the other screen? You notice when I'm trying to email myself a bunch of listings, there are certain formats that don't seem to work. And I'll only get the first listing I'm trying to print, even when I do all selected, and I have them all selected. Or if I just do all listings. And when I email, for example, the agent detail with map to myself, I tend to only get the first.
Well, it's only going to show you the first, but there's going to be a list over on the left of all the other listings. So let me email that here.
No, and I would do a PDF. So maybe
Well, that's why. Yeah,
So you do PDF, you'll only get one.
right.
Okay.
Because when you do it as a hyperlink, it's going to have all the data there.
Right.
It's like when someone comes here, clicks on the link.
Just like when you click on the link, only the first one will show, but then there's the list. of-
Right, exactly. But when you do a PDF, it can only be the one you're viewing.
Because I was trying to do that so that I could print it out later to have all the ones I was going to show together.
I get you, yeah. And so yeah, when you are looking at the listings there, yeah, if I go to email it and I choose to do it as a PDF, you'll notice the choice for the other ones goes away. So when you have a hyperlink, you've got selected all are current. But if I go to PDF, actually even any attachment, I don't have a choice for more than one.
I
So.
probably went down to the bottom first and then changed it.
So, well, and hyperlink's probably the best choice when you're emailing, only because it's a live link. So for 90 days, they can come back and click on that link and see the information updated. So like if it said 4 days on market today, they click the link tomorrow, it would say 5 days on market. So, but yeah, when you do an attachment, it's just the first listing. So, questions about emailing Paragon or anything while we're talking about Paragon here real quick? If you have questions about Paragon, don't hesitate to ask or call, go to the help. But I will tell you, I've never learned how to use a computer program by reading a book, reading a manual, watching a video, taking a class. You got to use it. And before anybody says, well, you learned all about computers in school, Chris, I did not. I did not get a degree in computers. I learned how to use Paragon. If you've taken the Paragon class, you've heard me say this. I learned how to use Paragon sitting in the computer lab by myself, listening to an audio cassette of someone teaching a Paragon class in Arkansas. I didn't have anybody in front of me. I didn't have any visuals other than me looking at my own screen. So if you think I'm not empathetic, I am, and I know it can be done. If you don't like technology, why are you a realtor? You're in the wrong industry if you're in the wrong century if you don't like technology. Because anything you work with is technology. But with Paragon, the way to learn it is to use it. And if someone says you don't need to learn Paragon, if you want to listen to them, that's great. But the thing to remember is Paragon is where the listings are. Everything that has listings from Boise, Idaho starts in Paragon. Zillow, Realtor.com, your broker's website, they all get it from Paragon. And there's things in Paragon that don't go to those sites. And so the more familiar you are with Paragon, the easier it is. So, and I'm not saying that to scare you into using it. It's just a lot of times there's lots of tools and things that you get thrown at you. Paragon is not something you want to let be the last thing you look at. I got to tell you, this was a few years ago, but I had an agent come in on a Friday afternoon at noon and said, this is a brand new agent, had not taken any classes, and said, I have a buyer coming in this weekend. Can you help me search for some properties? So I will tell you, I helped them start a search, but I almost wanted to say, what's the name of your buyer again? And I wanted to call them and say, do you know what you're doing? Because, you know, I would hope they would be open with their buyer and say, by the way, I don't know how to do anything. And so let's see how this goes. I doubt they said that, but I mean, again, if you go to the doctor and the surgeon says, hey, I've never done any surgeries on any cadavers or done anything, can I come and cut you open? You're going to say no. So you want to have some practice. Go in there and use Paragon. And if you get frustrated or you have a question, call and ask. Don't beat your head against a wall. Because like I said, everybody had to learn it from ground zero at one point. Even the most successful agent in the Valley had to learn how to use Paragon because they have to have that listing information. So you want to be familiar with it. And Paragon classes fill up. We only have a 16-seat computer lab. So don't wait till you take a class to go in and use Paragon. The last thing I'll say on the help up here at the top of Paragon, if you go up here to help, not only is it divided by category, you can go right here to training videos, and they've got videos about all the different parts of Paragon. New to Paragon, homepage, search, working with results. So if you're waiting until you take a Paragon class, you're waiting too long. I mean, go in there and learn that information so you've got it. And then the Paragon class will be even better because you'll have experience. You won't be just sitting there. You won't be having waited. Because I'll tell you, many times there are people that the first time they're logging into Paragon is in the class, and I'm like, man, you should have logged in earlier. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on Paragon here. All right, a couple other things about Paragon. Mapping on listings. So when you're looking at a listing, there's a map icon that shows you where the listing is. If you're the listing agent, you can make sure that's in the correct location. Just like you can upload your own photos, you can go to listing maintenance, click change geocode, and drag the little icon wherever it's supposed to be. Because if your property's in a new subdivision, Bing Maps may not have that new road in there. And so you can make sure it's in the correct place. And if you're the listing agent or co-agent, you can do that. Same thing with uploading documents. You can upload your own PDFs or Word documents of CC&Rs, utility printouts, whatever you want, into Paragon so other agents can see them. They can be made public if you want, so they can be emailed, or you can just make them so they're not public and only agents would see them. Paragon has a voice search tool that allows you to search via your phone. I will not tell you it's very fun because it's not. It's like an automated human voice walking you through prompts. But if you're in a place where you don't have data coverage and you need to look up something, it can be useful. I would not recommend doing it in front of a class with a speaker phone. That's not going to work very well. I say that from experience. And you have to call from the number that's in your agent record. So that's Paragon voice search. And then customizing reports. For those who were in the class this morning, we already looked at this, but I'm going to bring up Paragon again. So when you're looking at the MLS client detail, which I'm going to take the customizations out. When you look at the MLS client detail and you bring up a listing, at the bottom, it's going to say, click the customize button and then fields above this listing to enter your own custom contact information. Many reports, if they don't have your information on them, need you to enter it in there. Some reports already have it on there, but you can't change it. So that's the catch-22. Like there's a report here called the customer handout, and it already has my name at the bottom. But if I'm on a team, I can't change my name, I can't put the team name, and I can't put anyone else's name on there. But if I'm on the client detail that says click the customize button, I can go here to customize fields, and then I can go in and type in my own information. And you only have to do it once, and then anytime you use that report, it's customized. But it's kind of, it's either you have to put it in yourself or it's unchangeable. So it's kind of up to you, whatever you want it to be. So some goals of the MLS. First, to stay on top of issues and new technology, to continue to provide new services and tools, which means you're always going to see new stuff on that dashboard. It doesn't mean you have to use it. Don't let it fluster you because there's 10 different, 15 different things that you don't know what they are. Don't worry about it. Use the things that you need. Because especially if something has a free component, the board loves free stuff. So they're always looking for new things to add. We're always trying to take care of our participants and subscribers, our brokers and agents, providing accurate and current information to them. That helps reduce broker liability, and we're always trying to move consumers to realtors because the MLS obviously wouldn't work without realtors, and realtors would have a hard time without the MLS. It's a nice symbiotic relationship, and so we want to make sure we're encouraging consumers to use realtors, which is why Our public page sends them to you if you're the listing agent, because that's who they should be going to talk to. So we got an antitrust presentation here. We'll see if it will work for me. And I'll be right back.
Welcome to this orientation on antitrust and the real estate profession. We'll begin with a brief overview of antitrust law, and then we'll bring the law to life by taking a look at some examples of real estate agents in situations in which antitrust violations could occur. Why is antitrust a major concern for real estate professionals? Real estate brokers vigorously compete to secure an inventory of listings to offer for sale, but brokers also regularly cooperate with one another to sell those listed properties. This dual tradition of competition and cooperation presents frequent opportunities for antitrust misconduct, as we will see. The foundation for federal antitrust law is the Sherman Antitrust Act. The Sherman Act establishes two basic elements of an antitrust violation: an agreement, understanding, or conspiracy among competitors that unreasonably restrains competition. Penalties for antitrust violations include liability for 3 times the plaintiff's actual damages, payment of the plaintiff's reasonable attorney's fees and costs, court supervision of the defendant's business for as long as 10 years, and prison terms. As a real estate professional, it's important for you to be aware of how your words and actions can inadvertently move you into dangerous antitrust territory. And of course, it is vital that you know how to properly handle these types of situations. Let's take a look at Phil and Kelly, 2 agents who work for the same firm. Kelly is an experienced, very successful agent. The broker has come to appreciate her knack for measuring less experienced agents like Phil. Phil is ambitious and hardworking, but he has only had his real estate license for a few months and is seeking just his 2nd listing. Phil has a listing presentation today. As you watch how he interacts with the seller, see if you can identify any behaviors that may be potential antitrust violations.
So I keep telling Wayne, well, why don't we just put it on the market already?
And I keep telling her we will, but not unless we shop around with it. And it's like I always say, I don't care who it is, a real estate agent, an oral surgeon, or a roofer. You've got to get 3 bids. That's right. I mean, you feel that we can work together, right?
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Drake.
Wayne.
And I'm Sarah.
Sarah.
Okay, so what do you think? What's this commission, 5%?
Well, that's the part of the sales price that goes towards money. We know what it is, but isn't that high? I mean, Sarah, didn't the Browns pay 4%? Yeah, 40%. So why is yours more?
Well, it's compensation for my services. Marketing the house, running the ads, conducting all the showings, open houses.
Couldn't you do that for 4%?
Not really. Actually, commission rates are pretty standard. Well, then, why did our friends pay less? Well, there are some firms out there that try to get away with it, but most of the responsible firms in the association go along with the program.
Oh, yeah? Well, we just talked to one from, Sarah, what was it?
Rock Bottom Realty?
Right, Rock Bottom. And she said that she would put our house in the MLS for $500. $500. We can still sell it ourselves without paying a dime more, and if an agent from another firm brings in a buyer, we only have to pay a 2% commission. And that's less than half of your commission.
Rock Bottom. Well, you're right. They do charge only $500 to list your house and put it in the MLS, and you would pay just a 2% commission if an agent from another firm delivers a buyer. But that's the problem. See, for that amount, no other agents want to show Rock Bottom's listings because they have to do all the work that Rock Bottom should be doing. So it actually costs you more in the long run because it takes you longer to sell. See, if I lower my commission rate, I'd also have to lower what I offer other agents in the MLS. And no one would want to show your house either. So really, it's in your best interest for us to charge the standard commission. See? You follow? Most of us think rock bottom listings shouldn't even be in the MLS. In this case,
If you were in Phil's position, being questioned about your commission rate, would you handle the situation differently? After his presentation, Phil meets Kelly at a coffee shop, and she asks about the meeting. Let's see if your ideas about what Phil might have done wrong are the same as those offered by Kelly.
starting to wonder if we even gonna get another listing.
Couldn't have gone that badly.
Well, listing, well, you said they were still shopping around. They would want to pay our commission, bottom line. And that was even after I told them it was the same thing everybody else charges.
You didn't say that.
Why?
No, what you said makes it sound like we all got together and agreed on a fee. That's what antitrust lawyers call price fixing. You don't remember that from orientation? Do you remember that you can go to jail for price fixing?
Come on, Kelly.
No, really. I know you didn't do that, but just the same, that kind of talk gets you in a lot of trouble. It gives the impression that all the firms around here agree on the fees they charge. If the jury gets that impression, it doesn't matter what you meant. We're all guilty.
You make it sound like I'm headed for a guest spot on America's Most Wanted. Come on, it was just a little remark, that's all.
And I know it's just a remark.
I really wanted to get that listing. Besides, as far as I know, our commission is the same as most other firms in town.
But it doesn't matter if most firms charge the same if they haven't agreed to do it. But you made it sound like that's exactly what's happening, which is price fixing. You shouldn't use words that even imply we colluded with other firms.
Aren't you overreacting? Well, it just bothered me that they were so impressed that Rock Bottom Realty would charge $500 just to stick the house in the MLS and not do anything else. I just wanted her to know that no one would show their house if they listed with Rock Bottom.
Great, Phil. Now you're 2 for 2.
What? Oh, I know, I'm guilty of bad-mouthing another firm, right?
Try boycotting another firm. I don't want to kick you when you're down, but what you said makes it sound like all the other firms in town are working together to drive Rock Bottom out of business. You need to know what you can say and what you can't.
It's not what I meant.
I know that, but the sellers don't. And what you imply could cause real problems. Even with, say, advertising, for example. We can do whatever we want, right? Run our ads in any paper, pull them if we think that the rates are too high or the print is too small, but do that together with other firms and it's a group boycott, an illegal boycott. Boycotts, along with price fixing, are the most common antitrust allegations that people in our business face.
I should have talked to you before I went.
If someone questions you about your commission, you come back with a clear description of all the services you provide. Tell them why you're worth it. Stress our company's track record. Focus on making the sale quickly at the listed price. Show them how your marketing is going to accomplish their goals.
As Kelly pointed out to Phil, the two antitrust violations that are of most concern to real estate professionals are price fixing and group boycotts. Both of these are per se restraints of trade, meaning that the plaintiff does not need to introduce any evidence that the restraint had an actual impact on the market, and the defendant is not offered a chance to justify his actions as reasonable. As a real estate professional, you deal with customers and clients, competitors, and other service providers. It is important that you know how to limit your risk of antitrust liability in your relations with each of these groups. One of the fundamental decisions that any business must make is establishing the price it will charge for its products or services. Real estate brokerage firms are no different. Each firm must establish the fee it charges for professional services. The keys to avoiding antitrust violations or claims of violations alleging illegal fee setting are to establish fees without consultation or discussion with persons affiliated with any competing firm, to be sure that all brokers and agents in the firm understand the fees charged by the firm are not and may not be established by agreement with other firms, and to ensure that when the company's brokers or salespeople discuss fees with clients, they use words that clearly indicate that the company prices its services independently, and that there is no unintentional inference that fees are set by agreement with other firms. This means never responding to a question about fees by referring to pricing policies of other firms. You should respond to questions about your commission by pointing out the value of the services the client receives for the fee charged, and how your services are most likely to lead to a transaction at a fair price in the shortest period of time. It's also important to understand that it is unlawful to agree with other firms about non-price aspects of the terms on which a firm provides its services to clients. Firms may not, for example, agree with other firms about the terms of their listing agreements, including the length of a listing, the type of listing agreement, or the formula upon which compensation will be based. Illegal price-fixing conspiracies may involve not only the fee a firm charges for its services, but may also involve a cooperative commission split, that is, the fee paid to the successful cooperating broker who delivers a ready, willing, and able buyer for a listed property. It is illegal for brokers to agree or conspire to fix the amount of the cooperative compensation paid to other competitors. Listing and cooperating brokers may, of course, discuss or negotiate the compensation they will pay to each other. However, these discussions should never include representatives of a third firm or address what each broker will offer to pay to other firms. In addition to price fixing, a group boycott is a violation of the antitrust laws. A group boycott occurs where two or more competitors agree not to do business with another firm, or to do business with the other firm on agreed-upon terms. For example, a broker may decide to offer one or more potential cooperating firms a different commission split than it offers to other cooperating offices. This is permitted by antitrust laws, so long as it is done without agreement with other firms. However, if a number of other firms simultaneously determine to offer a similarly lower split to a given firm, that may imply a conspiracy against the firm offered that lower split. Therefore, any decision to vary the firm's compensation offers should be carefully considered, and if made, documented, in order to be able to rebut any inference of conspiracy with other firms who may also be offering less compensation to that firm. In the same way, you should never suggest to a potential client that they should not do business with another firm because other brokers will not cooperate with that firm. A statement like that suggests that everyone understands or has agreed to refuse to do business with that other firm. After Phil and Kelly met at the coffee shop, Kelly headed to a listing presentation of her own. Let's see how she handles questions about her commission.
So it sounds like you're ready to really sell, huh?
We just don't want it to sit around for 18 months like the place across the way.
I understand, but your home has some very desirable features. And view with the balcony, panoramic view, hardwood floors throughout, granite countertops, a high-tech security system.
And the price?
Based on the comparables, Donald, I feel very confident that we priced it right.
I guess you ought to make that official.
Oh, I know you told us already, but could you explain the part about the commission one more time?
I'm sure, Ellison, it's 5% of the sales price.
That's standard, right?
I don't think your brother's broker got that much. There's no such thing as a standard fee. Our firm determines its commission based on the services we provide to make sure you meet your real estate goals.
You mean a quick sale at a good price?
Right. You need to sell quickly because of your transfer to Cincinnati. And we've agreed on a price that reflects fair market value. Now, to make sure we meet these goals, I'll do several things.
Like advertise the place, have an open house?
Sure, but I'll also do a lot more than that. I'll put together a comprehensive marketing plan and put your home in multiple listing service, which will make it available to all MLS participants. We'll run regular newspaper ads and advertise it on Realtor.com. We'll coordinate or arrange all the showings. Buyers will be screened to weed out the serious from the curious. And because our firm is associated with a relocation plan, we'll have an even larger pool of serious buyers.
Well, that's gotta help.
When you do get offers, we'll help you evaluate each one. whether to accept it or reject it or make a counteroffer.
And we hope to be making those kind of decisions real soon.
Well, as I mentioned before, our firm sells homes that we list in significantly less time than average for a market. But of course, all the things we do to sell your home cost money, and you don't pay the commission unless and until there's a sale that you are satisfied with. I think you'll find the quality is worth the investment, and the returns you get will more than justify the commission we'll earn.
Honey, I'm sold.
All right, let me sign this thing. Thank you.
By their very nature, realtor associations consist of a group of competitors who may violate the antitrust laws by agreeing among each other in the ways just described. That is why it is important that brokers who participate in the affairs of an association of realtors be alert to discussions at association meetings relating to commission levels, pricing structures, or marketing practices of other brokers. Brokers who find themselves in the midst of such discussions should immediately suggest that the topic be changed, and if unsuccessful, should promptly leave the meeting. If minutes of the meeting are being taken, the broker should insist that his or her departure be noted for the record. Competitors are not the only potential targets of a group boycott. Another type of illegal group boycott is one targeted at a supplier or purchaser. A familiar example of a temptation for brokers to engage in a group boycott of a supplier occurs when brokers become frustrated with a local newspaper's advertising rates or editorial practices. Any agreement to reduce or stop advertising in the paper will constitute an illegal group boycott. Agreements among brokers to act collectively with respect to other suppliers, such as printers, sign makers, or hardware or software vendors, are likewise vulnerable to antitrust claims. Real estate brokers' compliance with the antitrust laws is directly related to their ability and willingness to educate their salespeople. The broker should ensure that the salespeople have at least a working knowledge of how antitrust laws are applied in the real estate industry. Every real estate brokerage firm should have a written, office-wide antitrust compliance policy that is applicable to every employee and independent contractor. A salesperson should report to his or her broker or sales manager any suggestion by salespeople from other firms that could be interpreted as an invitation to fix commissions or boycott a competitor. Once an incident has been reported, the broker should immediately take steps to disavow any participation by the firm in such a scheme. When we saw Phil earlier in the program, he had put himself in a precarious position because of his lack of awareness of antitrust red flags. Let's look back in on him a few weeks later to see if he's learned his lessons.
Have you seen this new listing?
Bill Walker. Jeff. Hey, sure. How's it going? Going. Pretty good. Pretty busy. How about your firm? Good. Yeah, I read yesterday's Gazette. Oh, yeah. The ad for the Internet Realty Associates. I saw that too. Well, what do you mean a bunch of us are getting together to do something about them? Well, of course I'm concerned about a new competitor. And I know a little bit about these guys, and I know they're pretty smart. But that's not the point. Jeff, we'll figure out for ourselves how we can best compete with other firms. I don't care what other firms. No, I don't even want to know what firms you've been talking to. Well, then what you might be talking about doing. Well, you're asking for trouble. I've already heard more than I want to. Yeah. Goodbye, Jeff. Can you believe that guy?
I wonder if he even knew he was doing anything wrong.
How could he not know? Well, there he is.
In their day-to-day business decisions concerning the fees they charge clients, commissions must paid to cooperating offices, or other business practices, real estate brokers must be certain that their decisions are the result of independent business judgments about market conditions facing the firm. Consultations with competitors about these decisions can result in otherwise reasonable actions being held to be illegal. Finally, antitrust compliance is not simply a means to avoid liability and litigation. Universal antitrust compliance ensures the ability of all competitors to succeed to the extent their skill, industry, and foresight will permit.
How awesome was that?
That was
Yeah! How many of you seen that before? Okay, well, I need most of you probably have. Questions about anything we've talked about today? Talked about a ton. Now, like I said, we didn't cover every little item on your handout here, but now you can go back and look at it when you're logging in and you're on your own computer. If you have questions, don't hesitate to let us know. I think everybody's on the sign-in sheet. If you're not, it's still out there out front. So thanks for coming. Have a good afternoon.